global warming. In Adelaide, they targeted the American consulate because of that country's refusal to sign agreements on greenhouse emissions. They held a peaceful protest aimed to gain community support for their cause. In Greenpeace's usual theatrical fashion, activists dressed up as different continents and portrayed the lands being choked to death by greenhouse gases. Similar protests across the nation were more boisterous. Police arrested six protesters in Canberra as they barricaded the American embassy.
Protesters outnumbered police at the front of the embassy. With push and shove, they managed to block the entrance with a 6-metre replica of the Statue of Liberty.
No further, right? Certainly, don't move any further.
With police preoccupied, other protesters chained themselves to the compound fence. Greenpeace complains that America creates a quarter of the world's greenhouse gases, yet is refusing to change its ways. They say US President George Bush has caved into pressure from polluting industries.
We are fed up with the US not taking responsibility for its global warming, its greenhouse gas emissions. We intend to stay here until we get assurance from the ambassador that the USA will do something about it.
Greatest polluter in the world.
During the protest, activists attempted to scale the embassy fence.
You arresting me? We've been denied access to the embassy, but it won't stop here.
Eventually, police reinforcements moved in and the rescue unit cut protesters free. In all, 6 people were arrested. The Canberra protest was one of many around Australia today. In each of the capital cities, environmentalists rallied outside the US consulates. In Sydney, a small group of demonstrators used street theatre to make their point. They also tried to pass a letter of protest to the Consul General.
If he could put his lunch off for 5 minutes, because it is the people of the world who are going to suffer.
Eventually, a consular representative collected the envelope. Guy Bevilacqua, 10 Eyewitness News.
A coroner's inquiry.
A hypocrite for attending next week's Save the Earth environmental summit in Brazil, while the United States remains the main contributor to global warming.
Sorry, no violence, please.
The US Embassy in Canberra was the prime target. Protesters clashing with hastily summoned police reinforcements in a charge on the main gate. Guards and embassy officials tried unsuccessfully to stop demonstrators chaining themselves to the main gate. Police had more luck in holding back a large cage containing more chained and padlocked people.
No further, right? Certainly, officer.
Once a large Statue of Liberty had been installed, Greenpeace turned its attention to Australia's failure to send the head of government to Rio.
It's irresponsible of the Prime Minister to not attend the Earth Summit, and we will keep pressure on him.
Guards moved quickly when protesters tried to scale the embassy's 3-metre fence. 6 people arrested and charged with trespass. The demonstration ended when police brought in powerful metal cutters to snap open the Greenpeace prison cell and cut the other protesters from the fence.
Earth Summit 92, deeds not words.
The demonstrations in the other capitals were colourful and peaceful. Outside the US consulate in Sydney, America was accused of dicing with the Earth's future. In Melbourne, Mr Bush was also in trouble, picketers demanding action in Rio next week. With more than 120 heads of state among the 30,000 people attending the mega conference, local authorities are busy bulldozing slums and building special VIP freeways. The Brazilians want Rio's poverty and rampant crime as far from view as possible, while the delegates discuss a perfect world. Peter Harvey, Canberra.
South Australia.
Ambitious, these agreements would commit nations to cutting their output of carbon dioxide by 25% by the year 2005. Attempts by the Canberra demonstrators to press home their concerns to American officials met with the by those concerned with embassy security.
We wanted to tell George Bush via the US ambassador that the US can no longer hold the planet to ransom over global warming. And we've been denied access to the embassy, but it won't stop here.
The 6 arrested were later charged with trespassing. Elsewhere around the country, the Greenpeace protests were no less colourful, although no other arrests resulted. In Sydney, the point was made that the United States is dicing with global warming. In Melbourne, demonstrators accuse the United States of generating a quarter of the global greenhouse gases without taking any responsibility.
The global warming is a reality, and you know, there is just no way that we can take chances with that sort of possibility.
Greenpeace says the US attitude may threaten the upcoming Earth Summit in Rio. Gabby Hills, SBS News.
The long-running